Dry January is officially over. Woo! Time to party. Well, it's actually really incredible considering that 30% of Americans this year in 2025 decided to join Dry January, which is wild considering there's only 16% joined in 2023 and then 25% in 2024. So the popularity of Dry January is increasing. So if you participated in Dry January and you made it through, great for you. If you tried doing the dry January, but you drank, that's okay. You could always reframe and learn from it if you want to continue growing. And if you didn't do the dry January this year, but want to do it, please don't wait until next year. Don't be like, oh, well, maybe next time I'm going to go ahead and do the dry January. It's going to be next year. Next year's my year. No, if you have that feeling that you want to stop drinking because you want to benefit your relationships and you want to benefit your health, then do it ASAP. And I'm going to go ahead and run through 4 pro tips on how to keep the momentum going instead of just not drinking for a month and then partying your ass off. Because that's one option. You could do that, but it's going to put you back probably in the same exact place you were at before, or even worse. So let's do it. And now, why would you want to continue on growing? Because when you get past that six month mark and that year mark, that's when you really start to see the changes. Some people might see the changes in just 1 month, but imagine extrapolating that to 6 months and then to 1 year. Honestly, I was super awkward for the first year of my sobriety, especially speaking to women and being around in social events. So it honestly was probably around 2 years where like things started to really change. I was like, oh my gosh, I really feel my confidence. And that's why I want to go ahead and pop in these 4 pro tips that I wish that I knew when I first started my sobriety. Number one, this is a big one. So you might want to you actually might want to write these down. Number one is to create a plan based off of your bullshit beliefs around alcohol instead of how long you want to be sober for. Right. So, what am I talking about? I'm talking about what I kind of said previously. One of my bullshit beliefs was I'm not as confident sober as I am drunk. I don't dance as well sober as I do drunk. So those are what I call bullshit beliefs. Are they actually true? No, but to me they were. I felt like they were true. Everybody has bullshit beliefs around alcohol that drinks currently. So, if you're able to figure out what those are, if you feel like alcohol, like you drink this alcohol and it makes you become like this superhuman, like you have this superpower, then figure out what those are, write them down, and then make a goal based off of those beliefs. Now, how do you do that? Well, you can say something like, well, when I feel like I'm able to dance sober as good as I dance drunk, then I'll drink again. So, what you're doing is you're putting the goal based off of an outcome, not off of a length of time, because it's not about the length of time. If you say right now, oh, I'm not going to drink for the rest of my life, you might feel pretty like intimidated. Or if you even say, I'm not going to drink for a year, you might be like, man, like my life's going to be totally different in a year. So just focus on the things you need to work on, which leads me to my second thing. Number two is focus in on what you're bringing into your life, not what you're losing. So instead of saying, I'm not drinking for a month, I'm not drinking for 2 months, I'm not drinking for 6 months, I'm not drinking, no more alcohol. It's like it's in your head just constantly. Don't even think about the alcohol, right? You want to like separate from that, even that environment. Like maybe don't go to the clubs, don't go to the bars, don't go to your friend's house that are having parties and getting drunk. And especially in the beginning, because I call that going to the lion's den. Yeah, you can do it, but it's more difficult. It's almost like if you're going out, if you're on a 24-hour fast and you go out with your friends to dinner to your favorite restaurant, you're smelling the smells, you're feeling the feels, you're hungry as shit. You know how hard it is to not eat? Way harder than if you just sat your ass at home and drank some water or some tea. Anyway, so what you want to do is you want to focus in on what you're bringing into your life. Things like cool different events that you've never done before. Like if you want to take up tennis, if you want to take up meditation, if you want to take up volleyball, if you want to take up surfing, you want to replace that time where you used to drink and do it with sober activities that most people aren't drinking, right? A lot of sports, that type of thing, people aren't going to be hammered at a sporting event unless you're doing like softball or something, right? So try to pick something that most people don't drink and focus in on how your life is going to change for the good instead of what you're giving up, right? So that's number two. And number three is to create a support system. This could be your friends, your relatives, and coaches. If somebody you want somebody to inspire you, or even like places like AA, which are not for everybody, but if that's something you want to do, to find some sort of a support system and make sure your support system is sober. You don't want to have a support system of somebody that gets blackout drunk on the weekends. That cannot be your support system. You have to have a support system with somebody you know who has been successful being sober and still has a good time. Like doesn't like hate their life. Like oh my, I mean, I haven't met a lot of sober people that are worse off than when they started drinking. I've never actually never met somebody like that. But everybody that I've met sober always they do a whole bunch of fun sober stuff all the time. It's part of their life. I meet more sober people than I meet drunk people. Not drunk people, people who drink. Right? So create a support system of people who are successfully sober. Period. Next one. 4. Reward yourself and share your wins. Right? So this is tough. It's tough, like drinking for 10 years or 20 years or 15 years, however many years you've been drinking, and then just being like, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and shut that down. When you relied on it for so many things. You relied on it to kind of relax, you relied on it to like kind of grease the wheel socially, you relied on it to, feel more confident, shut down the negative noise. Like everybody uses that some in some sort of way, right? People who drink usually drink for some reason, right? And all of a sudden you're taking that away. So what happens is you're going to have to relearn how to feel that same way in order for it to be worth it to stop drinking, right? So it is a process and it takes time and it's going to be uncomfortable, but you cannot grow without discomfort, right? So you got to kind of choose your heart. Drinking for the rest of your life, not growing as much as you can and not really reaching your health goals, or quitting the drinking and it might being awkward for a couple months, right? You got to choose. You got to choose your heart. And it's super important to share your wins and reward yourself. Now, how do you reward yourself? That's up to you. But for me, I had this little deal where I was like, you know what? If I'm plant based and I do 6-minute abs every day and I don't drink, I could have ice cream every night. Any night I want to, I can have ice cream. So every time I ate that ice cream, I was like, I deserve this. I deserve this. I deserve this. You know what? I'm focusing on what I get instead of what I'm getting away. I reward myself. Yes, I get this ice cream because I did great today. Every single day, getting that reminder. Give me whatever you want. Also, you can reward yourself and like have like one of these apps. It's called like Sober Today, which tracks how much money you saved not drinking. And what you could do is you could just create a little trip for yourself. You might save a couple grand, might save a couple hundred, whatever. Go to a spa day, treat yourself to something fun. Another cool reward. And also share your wins. How do you share your wins? Share it on Instagram, share it on Facebook, share it with your friends, whatever you want to do. Just share it. So you keep ingraining to yourself, you're doing something positive. And if you're telling it to the right people, don't tell it to somebody who's struggling. Tell it to somebody who's already been there. Or tell it to somebody who that's actually a really good friend and doesn't give up your friendship because you stopped drinking. Those are probably the people you don't want to tell. Anyway, so reward yourself, share your wins. Very important. That's number 4. So those are the 4 pro tips. There's so many more, but I just wanted to put them down to 4 so you can continue on this momentum if you have tried or been successful in the sober January and you want to continue on this momentum. Because if you get sober for a month and then party your ass off and then go right back where you started, why'd you do it in the first place? If you want to continue it on, you will see big changes in your life. 6 months, 1 year down the road, 2 years. It just as you keep growing and the wins just keep accumulating. Right. So these are all things that I do in my program. And if you want to get sober and need some help with it, hit me up. Let's do it together. Let's have fun doing it. Have a great day and enjoy your sober February and sober year 2005. Let's go. I'm going to be there. Let's go. Have a great one. Peace and love. See you tomorrow.